Okay, the purpose is that we make our project very clean and tidy. Okay, and
Yes.
and and everything that is required in a proper project should be there. That is the purpose. Okay. Now, where you are right now, what is the problem right now you are facing?
Sir, the problem I'm facing that uh, when I'm filling the form and pressing the button, I'm not getting the response.
Okay, give. I have control, right? So where is the application?
Here it is.
Okay. So you are pressing get edge, then you are not getting response. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you click on get edge, postage will be called. Okay. So this I told
Yes.
you in the morning that if postage we cannot call postage. Postage either we if we are using use dispatch, then we call this postage inside dispatch because postage is an action. Okay. And if we are not calling use dispatch, then we have to call props.postage. Okay.
Okay.
So
Yes, yes.
okay. So change it to props.postage in the code for either use dispatch. So I will suggest not to use props.postage. So where is your form? Just go below,
Yes.
go down. Yeah, remove this line number 139. We don't want to use this connect function. We want to we will use hooks, use selector and use dispatch. Okay. Remove it completely. Now go to the top of the function. We have removed export statement, right? So we will write export
Yes.
function form. Line number 36, export function form. Okay. So basically we are using named export instead of default export. Okay. Now in the app.js where we have imported this form, go and update the import statement. Put this form inside curly braces because it is a named export now, not a default export. Okay. Now, okay. Now, now next thing that we should do is for any component we create. Okay. Now form is a component. It will have some props. Okay. In this case, there is no props. So for everything, we'll not use any. Okay. 1 second. 1 second. I go to form. Okay. And I will write an interface form. So name of interface we can either you can start with I or you can start with interface. So let's start with I form props. Okay. Currently there is nothing, no data coming to this form, so it is empty. Okay. So we'll not keep it any. We'll keep it I form props. And Pranay, please feel free to interrupt, ask me anything, any doubt you get, any information you want, any idea you get, just feel free to interrupt me. Okay.
Yes, yes.
I form props. Okay. So if we would have been using the connect function, okay, suppose we were using the connect function, then that connect function had post age in the dispatch map dispatch to props. You had written post age, right?
Yes, yes.
So one more thing I'm realizing is why it is not showing a Git repository.
Sir,
Don't have,
no, sir. I, I haven't initialized the
but
repository.
when you create using npx create React app, it already creates a Git repository. So
Sir, I'm
how do
using not npx.
so say again?
I'm using npm, not npx.
Okay, so basically Git
As
repository is not created. So we can create Git repository first. That should be the first thing. Okay. So this is the folder task practice.
yes, this is
First we'll check generally it has already told us that there is no repository. So but still I'm checking Git status. So if there is anything, not a Git repository. Okay. So I will do Git init to initialize a Git repository. Okay. Now Git repository is initialized. Okay. Now first thing is we have to do is make a first commit. So let's do that. First commit will make. Git ignore is already there. So node modules is already ignored. Everything that should be ignored is already ignored. Okay. So and ESLint cache. I am not sure about this ESLint cache, but let it be there. We'll see about it in future. So there are two ways to commit. Just make a first commit message. Do a commit. Initial commit, anything, any message you can put. Okay. So always create Git repository. This is very important part of when we are doing coding because we always should be able to go back to our history and be able to access the old code. Okay. So right now you remove the connect function. I was just trying to look if the connect function was visible in the here, right? So, but it was not visible. So this should always be your first step. Initializing Git repository should be always a priority. Okay. Now,
sure.
now again you are using a form. Which form you are using? Small f it is. So it's not a material UI form.
Yes, it's a normal form text. I'm just
Huh.
using the text field for the material.
Okay. Okay. So this name of this function also we can change, and I'm using function f2. So what is basically I'm renaming it. So I'm renaming it is a person form. Okay. Now, when I rename this as person form, it also renames this in app.ts. Okay. So
So
why did,
using the F2,
yes.
so sir, using the F2, we can change the name in all the folders, all the files,
When you rename it,
replacing.
it already got replaced over here.
Yes.
If this would have been a default
Okay.
export, so we converted this
Yes.
from default export to named export. Okay. If this was a
Yes.
default export and we would have named it, then this would have not changed in app.ts file. Therefore, I converted this from default export to named export. Okay. So that if I rename this file name over here, function name over here, it should rename
Yes.
in any place wherever it is used. Okay.
Okay.
So this is only possible with named export. You know what is the difference between named export and a default export?
Sir, when we use the default export, we don't have to use the curly brackets to import the that components.
Hmm.
Uh, and when we a normal export, then we have to use the curly brackets to import the component that.
Okay. So if there is a default export, we can import it with any name also. So if this would have been a default export, we could have I could have written import ABC from form, and it would have worked also instead of here.
Yes.
Okay. So this also got renamed, right? So but therefore I use named export instead of default export. If this would have been a default export, now this would not have got renamed. This would also not have got renamed. Okay. Now next thing about a component is the name of the main export and name of the file should match. So I'm going to rename this name file as well. person form. Okay. Again, this also renamed it over here. Update imports, yes, always automatically update imports. So I'm selecting this option, and this always does the thing for us, so we don't need to worry. Okay. So this error will go now. This error that has come below. See, this also got corrected from form to person form. Okay. If you save it, this error will go. Now, in person form, console.log is not required. I'm making a mistake. I wanted to do Control X and I was pressing Control Z. What is the purpose of this age? So this is very good thing that you have created. You have created an interface. Okay. I'm not sure you created or this was just okay. So okay, we have two interfaces now. So we should keep it interfaces outside the function.
Sir, when we create the interface, uh, as like I created that age age response. So in that I declare the two parameters, the name and date of birth.
Hmm.
So how to access that interface means
Okay, first
the
uncomment this.
variables.
Yes, just uncomment these interfaces first. I will explain that also. Because I am not able to. I am accessing it from Zoom, so from Zoom I cannot
Yes,
do command control slash does not work from my end. Everything else works.
no
Okay.
problem, sir.
Now age response. This is not age response. This is age request. So we will rename it first. Whenever we make a request, okay, we need to pass date of birth and name. So it is a request, not a response. So first I'm going to rename it. And this was used over here. I did not rename it using F2 because I don't want to change it over here. This is not page data does not contain the request array. It contains the response array. Okay. So I will make it proper name also. Age request body. Okay. So the name should be very proper. And again, it is interface. So I will start it with I. I
Age.
age request body. Okay. Now this is age data. Okay. Age data we don't need. So we don't need age data. So I'm removing it. Whenever if we need some time, will add it. Right now I'm not able to see any use of it. Okay. Dispatch we will be using. So dispatch we want to use.
Yes.
This is the new hook. Now const class is equal to use styles. Input name, set input name. Okay. Set input data. Input data will not use set input data because we'll directly access it
Okay.
from Redux.
Okay.
Okay. So did you understand why what I told like we are not keeping set input data because we are directly importing that data from Redux. So we will be using use selector, and from Redux store we will be getting that input data directly. So we don't need to create a hook for this data in the component.
Component. Yes.
Okay. So again, this input data is required, but for now I'm deleting it. We'll create a proper name, or let's not delete. You can make it first. We'll make it const, and second I will rename it to persons. Okay. And it is not string array. Now we go to reducer. It is not string array. Let's go to reducer now. Okay, this is person form, this is reducer. Now reducer also here also name should be proper. Control Z and rename initial person not initial age reducer state. Okay. For now we can keep it any, but we should create an interface for this also. Let's create interface I age reducer state. Okay. So what does it contain? It contains persons. Okay. It contains person is a type of array. We don't know what type of array, so I'm putting any array. Okay, we'll update that any also. We don't want to keep any. Okay. So this the interface that we have created I age reducer state. Pranay, you are able to think with me, right? If you think that I'm going very
Yes, yes.
fast and I'm doing something which you are not calculating why it was done, you can always interrupt me. Please interrupt me. I don't want to just do and do. I want that after end of the like 30-40 minutes, you should be knowing what we have done. Okay. So please feel
Yes,
again
sure, sir.
to interrupt me whenever you feel that I'm going a little fast. Just copy and paste it in place of any. I'm not able to do that. Okay, initial age reducer state. It is persons array. Okay, now person we have defined persons. Okay, so it's save it. It's not throwing error. If there would have been any mismatch between this interface and this object, then it would have thrown as an error. Okay, here we have defined persons as any array, and here we have created persons as an empty array. So it is working fine. Suppose I create another property over here. C is equal to not 3. Okay, so it is throwing error that there is no C property in this interface, right? Right?
So we have to add the that property in
Interface also.
interface.
Yes.
Okay.
So one more thing we should do. It's not required, but we will do. So now persons is an array, right? So see, there is this is thing which I want everyone to follow. Is instead of keeping persons as an array, we will keep three things. Okay, the persons will be not an array; it will be an object. It would be an object. Okay, and persons will be an object. It will contain three properties: error, is loading, or data. Data will contain any array. The data will contain that array that we were trying to put the data in the persons directly, but now we will not put the data directly on persons. We will put the data uh,
Any.
on data property of persons.
Okay.
Okay, is loading is when we are requesting persons. Okay, now there is no API given by the team for getting all the persons, but generally whenever in a normal project you will have a 1 second. You will have an API which can give you all the persons also. Okay. So here it is not very much relatable, but let's keep it for now. It will not be used in our project, but we'll keep it. Okay. It will be Boolean. Because why I'm keeping it? Because I want you to understand how you have to code your project. Next project. Okay. Error. Error is it can be string. Let's keep it string for now. Okay. So this is also an interface, right? So we can extract this outside. Okay. So I'm I'm extracting this outside. Interface I data slice. Okay. Control X, Control V, and persons is I
I did.
data slice.
Yes.
Okay, so this persons is not an array now. Okay, it is giving us an error,
Ch-
right?
Yes. It will be a.
It is showing never array is missing the following properties. What following properties? There is no data, there is no is loading, there is no error, right? So we have to add that
Yes.
those properties now. Data empty array. Okay, is
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 loading.
loading false. Default property. Error empty string. Okay, Control S. Now also persons. Now we'll also have one more object in our reducer. It is current person or last person. Not last person. Current person is better word. When we say last, then we don't understand last from first, last from end. Okay, so current person is better. Okay. Current person also will be same thing. It will contain data. Data will be an object here, not an array. Okay. This data will put whatever data comes from backend, we'll put it over here. Okay.
Okay.
Is loading false. Okay. So here I'll keep one more property. This is the interface of the reducer state. Okay. So here it will I will put current person. Okay. So what will be there in current person? I data slice again, right? Person is I data slice. I data slice is data is loading error. Current person is also I data slice. Error empty string. यहाँ पे कॉमा मिस हो गया है. Okay. Now see, it is saying us an error. It is saying array is now missing the following properties any. So we have defined over here that data should be an array, right?
Yes. Any
Data should.
array.
So that is the
Any
problem.
type.
That is the problem. Here the data is an array, but here the data is an object, right?
Yes.
So how can we
Right.
fix this? We can fix this very simply by making it. We have put the condition that here at line number 2 data should be an array.
Hmm.
We can remove that condition. Okay. Now error is gone because
Okay.
array is also any, an object is also any.
Yes.
When it was an object, it could not be an array, right? So it was throwing an error.
Hmm.
Now there is one more way to solve this. Okay, that is we can provide arguments also to interface.
So there the any will treat as the it will be the any data type means array, object, or string.
Anything, yeah, any works with anything. So this we are passing argument to interface. Okay, so what we'll do
Argument.
to interface. So here I'll pass person should be any array, na? So I'll pass any array. Okay, and this data type, what is coming as an argument, I'll put it data type over here. Okay, here the data, here the person is any. For now we are keeping it any, but this any also will update with the interface when we get the response from backend. Okay, that will replace that interface will create for that response and will put this interface in place of any. ठीक है, समझ रहे हैं आपको कि नहीं समझ रहे हैं, या फिर कुछ?
समझ रहे हैं? नहीं
ठीक
सर,
है,
समझे सर। जो
ठीक है।
बैकएंड से डेटा आएगा तो उसके हिसाब से आप
इन्हीं को रिप्लेस,
इंटरफेस चेंज
हाँ
कर
इन्हीं को
देंगे।
रिप्लेस कर देंगे। ठीक है, अभी हम क्या कर रहे हैं, अभी हमने सारे के सारे इंटरफेस यहाँ बना दिए। अब वो भी सोचना चाहिए कि हमको इंटरफेस कहाँ लिखना चाहिए, लेकिन अब वो सोचेंगे बाद में, पहले अभी सभी हम यही बना देते हैं। ठीक है, सो हमारा रिड्यूसर के इंटरफेस तो हमने जितने चाहिए थे उतने बना लिए। अब ये डिबगर वगैरह भी नहीं चाहिए हमको, एक्शन भी नहीं चाहिए। अब एज कैलकुलेटर, अब हमको ये एज कैलकुलेटर कांस्टेंट बनाना चाहिए। ओके, तो यहाँ पर कांस्टेंट फाइल है कि रिड्यूसर में एक कांस्टेंट फाइल बना दो। अभी के लिए अब बना रहे हैं कि हमको बाद में अगर ऑर्गेनाइज करना पड़ा प्रोजेक्ट तो हम मूव कर देंगे उसको। ठीक है, constants डॉट टी एस। ओके, यहाँ पे हम क्या लिखेंगे, एक्सपोर्ट कांस्ट,
एज कैलकुलेटर।
नॉट एज कैलकुलेटर, इट इज हम क्या कर रहे हैं, वी आर पोस्टिंग एन एज, राइट?
यस, पोस्ट एज।
पोस्ट एज, सो एज, हाँ पोस्ट एज ही करेंगे हम, विल यूज पोस्ट एज, इट्स अ पोस्ट एज, post age. Okay, we can rename the name later on if we feel we have any better suggestion, but for now I am seeing post age because we are posting age, we are posting name and date of birth. So we can even also keep post person. Yeah, we will keep post person. Okay, is equal to post person. Okay, control S. Now I could have also asked you to do this, but I am doing the coding for you because at least I want you to see how should be done. Okay, from next time onwards you should be doing all this. Okay, now instead of age calculator we don't want here age calculator, we will define three types now. Okay, what are those three types? So define, we have to define few more constants now. Post person, there will be few more constants. Okay, so here instead of post person it will be success.
Sir, the purpose of interface, we are declaring the interface is to is that we declare the variables with the data types. Is that only or
Yes, that is only purpose. जब हम वेरिएबल्स बनाते हैं तो हमको डिफाइन कर देना है, हमको कंपाइलर को बता देना है कि ये वेरिएबल इस टाइप का ही होगा। अगर मैंने गलती से कहीं पे इस वेरिएबल को कुछ और टाइप का डाटा अगर असाइन कर दिया तो मुझे पहले ही बता देना, इसलिए हम टाइपस्क्रिप्ट यूज करते हैं, इसलिए हम इंटरफेस बनाते हैं. ओके, सो नाउ here the case will be case and post person. Post, so I'm importing it directly. Okay, now, yeah, post person. So whenever we are posting a person, then what we should do, that will write over here. So what we should do, we should first of all we should return triple dot state comma current person. Okay, what will happen is loading will become true. We are making a request now.
Yes.
Okay, error will be empty string, because suppose there is an error from the previous state, so we have to make it empty. Error will be empty. Data, again the default property, empty. Okay, okay, so there is a return statement, so I don't need to break after switch case. Generally we break if there is no return statement. Okay, now in case there is a success response from the post person. Okay, so we'll write case post person plus
Plus.
success. This is reducer. Whenever we get success response, we'll dispatch post person plus success action. Okay, so again here we'll copy the same thing. This loading will become false.
Sir, a post person plus success means what we're trying to do.
Uh-huh.
Next.
So post person is a string, success is a string. Okay.
Yes.
So it will become post person success. One string it will become. Okay. So that will be our action type, post person success. Okay. So in that, when the action type is post person success, this we will be updating our reducer like this. Okay. Right.
Right.
Now same we'll copy for post person error. Control Z. Control C. Control V. Here it will be error.
Error.
Import. All right. Control Z. Error. Okay. So it got imported by default at the top. Okay. So what will be the is loading? Is loading will become false, because again either success or failure. Is loading is false. Only when we are requesting is loading is true. Okay.
Yes.
Now, huh?
No, no.
Now error. Yeah, because we got error, no? So we write over here action dot payload dot error. Here also we can improve action dot payload dot data, we can keep. Yes, and data will be empty,
Yes, we got error. There is no update.
right?
Yes.
Okay. Now there is one more thing we should do when there is success. As I told, the we have discussed this previously. When there is success, not only we are storing that current response in the person, but we also want to store and keep an array of the previous response also, right?
Yes. Yes.
So we have persons also in our reducer. It will be, and it is also already an array.
State
State, comma,
and
sorry, state dot
payload
persons,
action dot
comma,
payload
action dot
payload
payload dot
persons.
data. Okay.
Comma.
Now it is throwing an error. What is error?
My data
Array
slice
data
dot
slice, I data slice, any array is not an array. Okay, persons is not an array. We don't have data on persons. The data is on persons dot data. Okay. So again, I made a mistake. I was making a mistake and TypeScript helped me solve that, not make a mistake, right? I was making a mistake. The persons is not an array, it's an object. It has data property that is an array, right?
yes, yes. Ah,
Right?
right, right.
So here we are not touching is loading because we are not making the
Hmm.
request of, so what I'm doing is I will keep the whatever is there in persons triple dot state dot persons. Okay. Again, there is no plate here. I'm not sure is there or not because it's not working at least. Default formatter prettier. Okay. Format on save. Now save it. It got formatted. Okay. Now see this, we have to do this many times. Triple dot state dot persons, triple dot state dot persons dot data. All these things we have to do to create proper immutable reducer state. Okay, new object, new reference. And therefore I was explaining that that is the use of immer. When we use immer, I don't need to do triple dot.
The side one, sir. Yeah.
I can simply say state dot peoples dot push action dot payload. Okay,
Hmm.
it will take care of everything. It will create a new object. All the triple dot it takes care. Okay, so this is easier to understand also.
Hmm.
Okay, therefore basically this Redux JS toolkit and email, all this is good. All this is the better best practice, comes under best practice. Okay, now we have data. error. Now we will get in use selector data, we will get in use selector. So use dispatch, let's import at the top. Connect, instead of connect, we are using use dispatch. Okay. Control Z. Use dispatch and use selector. Okay. So we will use selector. Const current person is equal to use selector state state dot what will happen state dot age reducer. आपने age reducer नाम लिखा है ना उसका reducer का,
हाँ एज रिड्यूसर.
तो age reducer ही रहने देते हैं उसको. ठीक है, उसको age reducer से age कर देंगे हम. state dot age dot current person. ओके, ये करंट पर्सन उठा रहे हैं हम यहाँ से. ठीक है, अब इसके अंदर कितनी प्रॉपर्टीज है, इस लोडिंग एरर और डाटा. ठीक है, ठीक है ना, 3 प्रॉपर्टीज है इस लोडिंग. सो हम उसको डिस्ट्रक्चर करेंगे यहाँ, तो हम डिस्ट्रक्चर करेंगे उसको. डाटा को हम करंट बोल देंगे, करंट पर्सन. ठीक है, ये है रीनेम कर रहे हैं हम उसको. ठीक है, एरर और इस लोडिंग अभी हम यूज करेंगे तो लिख लेते हैं. यूज करेंगे तो ठीक है, नहीं किया तो निकाल देंगे बाद में. ठीक है, ठीक है. डाटा करेक्ट, ठीक. state dot age dot per current person. अब age we have to go to our combined reducer now.
Store Redux.
Okay. Property age does not exist on default root state. How do we give a default root state? That I need to figure out now. Okay, let's do that. One second. So basically store we are getting an error state dot age dot per current person. It is in the person form dot tsx. So we will simply do as any. That is our Brahmastra. Every time it will work.
Sir, a default root state means what it's saying.
Default root state means what happens. This is we are using Redux library, right? Now Redux library also they have also added types on the just like we have added types. We have added so many types over here, right? These are interfaces we have created.
Yes.
So those library creators also created interfaces for their functions, for all the functions they have imported. Now we need to use those types properly, but I am not right now aware how do I use that. So for now, what we are doing is we are making it as any. Okay. So point is here also we have put any, but we know I want to improve I want to improve types, so I added interfaces. Okay. So as we come to understand how do we add types, we will remove any and we'll put specific types. Okay. So this is mistake.
Still there.
Mistake. It is a mistake. So as any has to be on state, not on age. Okay. Control X. Okay. Now as everything will be gone. State dot persons action. State dot persons action dot payload is not an array type. Age calculator, that is extra that we will remove, that we are not using now.
That
Let's remove it. Not needed anymore. Okay. Now, yeah. So use selector. Now you will get current person. Now you can show current person in your form. Okay. So do whatever you can do now.